Okay, let's take a look at this order of operations problem. We have the number -8 being squared. Then we are going to minus the number 4 times -8. Then we are going to add 8. And you will notice off to the right, I have our steps that we follow for the order of operations. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division. Then we have addition and subtraction. Let's take a look at our first step. Now, I know we see parentheses in the problem, but the P for parentheses means you do whatever is inside the parentheses. So that means if you look inside of a set of parentheses, if there's some kind of operation to do or some task to complete inside the parentheses, then you would do that first. But when I look at my parentheses here, there's nothing to do inside of them. Everything inside the parentheses is already simplified. There's just the number -8 inside the parentheses. So there's nothing to do there. So that means we're going to go to the next step, which is exponents. So my first step of this problem is going to be to square the number -8. Now, -8 squared means I'm doing -8 times itself, or -8 times -8. That becomes positive 64. So now I have, and it's really important that you listen to how I say this. Here's what I have now. I have 64 minus 4 times -8 plus 8. So notice how it looks like we see two subtraction signs or two negative signs. We have to make sure we understand what they stand for. The first one that we see stands for subtraction. That's an operation. That means we're going to subtract the number 4 times, now the next sign we see stands for a -8. So what this means is we have 64 minus 4 times -8, and then we have our plus 8. So the parentheses we see now, we see the -4 and then parentheses -8. That parenthesis means that we are multiplying because that -4 outside of the parenthesis tells me I'm supposed to multiply that by -8. So the next step I'm going to do is my multiplication and division, and I do that in order from left to right. Well, I don't have any division here, I only have multiplication. So my next step is going to be to do the number 4 times -8. And I'm going to leave that subtraction sign alone yet because I haven't come to the step for subtraction yet. So I have the number 4 times the number -8. That's going to become -32. So notice how I have 64 minus -32 plus 8. And now all the parentheses is doing is separating that subtraction sign from the negative sign. So there's no more multiplication involved here. So I have 64 minus -32. Remember in our integer rules, we learned that when we minus a negative number, it's the same as adding the opposite or adding that number. So this really becomes 64 plus 32 plus 8. So now I'm on to my addition and subtraction. If I had both addition and subtraction, I would do them in the order I see them, left to right. But all I have is addition, so I'm just going to work 64 plus 32 as my next step. That's 96. Then I'm going to plus 8, and I'm going to get 104, and my final answer is 104.